to Gaza. We understand the al-Ruya building that was under Israeli threat has now been hit. We're looking at live pictures coming out of Gaza City. That building has been under threat orders from the Israeli military occupation in Gaza since yesterday, when they told residents that they were going, well, they told people in the area that they're going to hit that building, a building that consisted of residential. There we go. Those are the moments ago when that building was actually hit. And there you can see it crumbling into dust. Palestinians in the street running in fear. Must be a moment of panic for people. I believe we can bring up Hani Mahmoud now. He's live for us in Gaza City. Hani, if you can hear me, just talk us through the moment now as we watch these dramatic pictures of another Gaza residential block crumbling to the ground under Israeli military occupation fire.
Sammy, we have live footage of the smoke rising from the bombed site. The moment it was struck by multiple airstrikes, so I counted 3 massive explosions right after each other that they were felt across the city. And as you see the distance not far from here, it shook the buildings and the nearby areas. We heard glass is shattered in the nearby buildings because of the intensity of the bombardment. And so far what we're hearing, the entire building has been leveled to the ground. It was hit right at the foundation level of the building, bringing this whole 7-story residential towers to the ground. Now, this is not the tragedy. The tragedy extends now to the surrounding area. Many of the tents that they were set up in the past few months for displaced peoples are now finding themselves yet again searching for a place where they can survive these difficult conditions. It's just something that reminds us of what happened yesterday and the day before. The intensity of the explosions, the shock waves that took place is just quite scary, and slowly bringing everyone here close to this crazy devastation. The least that we can describe it. I must tell you, that was quite scary and very close.
Hani, I do want to give you a moment just to catch your breath there while we take in these live pictures that we are witnessing, the aftermath of an Israeli strike on that building, al-Ruya building. A lot of people obviously in the area, in the streets, and these were the moments ago when they actually hit that tower. That tower, as I said, has been under threat from the Israeli military occupation authorities, saying they were going to destroy that tower. Now they've just done that moments ago. And Hani, if you've had a moment, perhaps you can explain to viewers, one of the things that I imagine people might be thinking is, why are there so many tents, as you mentioned, and people in the streets in that area? Just talk us through why Palestinians feel they don't have a safe passage, nor do they have a safe passage to any area that by any stretch of the imagination could be described as safe for them to go.
Well, Sammy, at this point, safety doesn't exist as we know it, or as a term that we learned about in schools, in college, or when we talk about each other. Even when it comes to children, the idea of being safe does not exist anymore. We're talking about continuous, non-stop, constant bombardment campaign for the past 23 months that did not leave a chance for people to heal properly, to sit down and think about what they have been experiencing so far. It's all happening all one after another, to the point the trauma level is so high that people now just on a survival mode, not a safe mode, not trying to stay protected or safe. It's just survival mode, because it all combines these massive horrific elements of this genocide for the past 23 months. Many of the tents that are set up nearby this residential towers, in fact, are for people who have been displaced recently from the densely populated neighborhoods.
يلا شباب
الزيتون، الشجاعية، التفاح, and more recently, Sheikh Ridwan neighborhoods. Hundreds of families were pushed into displacement, had to seek shelter near where their relatives, where their family members are staying. They have apartments. They're staying in these towers. Just families are looking for each other at these difficult times. They try to stay near each other for protection, for safety, for survival. And that's the case for many of the people. Many of those inside tents happen to own apartments in nearby buildings that have been completely destroyed over the past months, or when the Israeli military and its occupying forces invaded Gaza City. This particular area where we are reporting from, or where al-Ruya Tower is located, was under Israeli occupation for quite some time, for 3-4 months in winter 2024, when the Israeli military invaded the whole city and destroyed much of its high-rise buildings in the area. Many of the houses, whether they are the horizontal level, the vertical levels, it's been destroyed, and whatever is left is now being used by displaced families to shelter, because life in tents nowadays is equivalent to a living hell. So those people who found an apartment, found a space, a roof above their heads, considered to be lucky compared to the 1,000 who are in the streets or the sidewalks of many of the roads here, experiencing and bearing the brunt of all these difficult living conditions. And now we're seeing the 24 apartments in these buildings and the surrounding areas are all going to be pushed into further internal displacement now, because there is simply the last place that they took as a refuge is gone now. It's gone with all the memories, with all the dreams, with all the good things that they experienced and they built over the past years, including family members, neighbors. It's a community. Every residential tower represents a community nowadays. It's an equivalent of destroying a whole entire neighborhood that is gone now in a blink of an eye.
And Hani, you know, we watch these scenes that we're looking at right now from the television screen, but perhaps what we don't immediately feel and what you can help viewers to get a feeling of is what that sort of environment leaves for people to deal with. I'm talking about things like the debris, the toxicity from the debris which remains there, the dust, the smoke, some of the neurotrauma, blast-induced neurotrauma, you know, the things that you don't smell and taste when you're sitting and watching this on the TV. What are people having to deal with in an environment like that?
And another layer of a trauma, the fact that these buildings, when the bombs go, explode and destroy these physical structures. So apart from what we're seeing, that concrete structure that is falling apart, what we're looking at here is many of the families who at some point, just the other day, 24 hours ago, they were inside these buildings. They were inside these, within these walls. They had a door that was closed and they were inside seeking protection and shelter. And now they're stripped of this. They are in the street now with no place to call home. I mean, for many of the people, the majority of families, these physical structures, the residential towers, they were more than just apartments or areas that they stay in it. It represented life for them. And we could see that clearly throughout the day when we looked at people's face. It's very sad, very tearful that they're seeing this happening. Now, the other thing is the environment becomes so devastated around it. The destruction, the devastation that is caused, the debris, the rocks and the concrete pieces of concrete that are scattered and thrown away to nearby buildings, to on the tents that they were set up nearby. The majority of the tents here, people who could not take off their tents to somewhere and left them in the area, left much of their belongings, are destroyed now, and people lost everything that they have collected over the past months trying to survive these conditions. Oftentimes, the smell of the chemicals, the smell of the whatever materials used in these explosive elements, stick around for as many days as a week in the areas. And for people who stay in the area, it's a stark reminder of what happened here. And we are 2 blocks away almost from the area, but we can smell the dust, the concrete dust mixed with the firepower, the powder that is filling the air right now. And I guess it's depending on the direction of the air, is going to stick around here for quite some time. But that's something that when you look at the picture, you don't experience this. The fact that you see this dark cloud of smoke in the area, that is not the first time. It's been going on for all of these months, 700 days of ongoing dark cloud of smokes that not only causing trauma, but destroying the very ecosystem here across the strip. And there's no end to it. It doesn't seem to stop right now, because we know the Israeli military has already set up the plan, has a map ready with all the buildings that wanted to hit. And the fear now, it's moving inward, meaning at the center of the city where the majority of people are staying here because simply they don't have any other place to go to. That's how people are living through this.
All right, Hani, we appreciate the great job that you and our teams there have been doing in bringing us these moments that we're watching live from Gaza City as the Israeli military has struck another civilian building in Gaza City. Thank you very much, Hani Mahmoud. I'm sure we're going to come back to you in a little bit. For now, we'll let you gather pace of events. And let's bring you some of those pictures moments ago that occurred when the Israeli military occupation struck that building. The al-Ruya tower there crumbling into ash and dust. A building, as our correspondent was explaining, that was home to families, now reduced to rubble. It was under threat since Saturday, with the Israeli military saying it will strike that building because it was being used by fighters. But it's a civilian building in a civilian area. That leaves, as our correspondent says, more families without a place to call home. And these are the live pictures in the aftermath. You can see the environment there, still very cloudy. As our correspondent was explaining, an aftermath of debris and dust that makes it challenging for people to survive, and yet they feel they have no choice. They feel they don't have a safe area. They've been told by the Israeli military occupation authorities to head to the south, but the areas in the south have also come under attack, and as Hani was explaining, there have been families that fled to the south only to be killed by Israeli military occupation attacks on some of these areas, like al-Mawasi, which the Israelis declared a safe area.